Alright guys, a year ago to the day, I competed in my first ever Jiu Jitsu competition, so let's talk about it. Alright, so first ever matchup, I got this guy from Pedigo submission fighting, man, and it did not really go my way. He had tossed me from the stand-up, and then I actually managed to get back to my feet. Then he tossed me again, and that one really hurt. And then I got armbarred, and I got tapped out my first ever Jiu Jitsu match. But the second match was a lot better, man. So I'm walking out there, and then I see my opponent is this dude, bro. Look at this guy. He's got a beard, you know. This guy looks like a grown-ass man, right? So I'm like, damn, right? Because I just went against someone, like, super old, like, too. He had a wife and kids there, the last guy. But this guy, man, I'm like, okay, here we go, right? This guy fights out of Six Blades, Midwest. So I was like, okay, that's a pretty big gym, right? So we're just hand fighting for a while, right? And it's just whatever. Yeah, we're just circling around, not doing too much, man. But then he kept grabbing, like, my rash guard, so that was kind of pissing me off. So, you know, I eventually learned my lesson not to wear long sleeve rash guards to comps. But we're still just circling here, you know. I don't really know what I'm trying to do. And then we're just going. And then he pulls guard. I get into a half guard. I almost just went straight to mount, but you know, I'm still pretty new, so I didn't really know. And then I wasn't really controlling the posture. I let him get that underhook, and then he got back to guard, and then we had the resets. We were getting kind of close off the mat. And then here I just remember to posture up. Then he braced my posture. And then I try to collect his legs and go for like a wrestling thing. But then he butterfly sweeps me, but then I wrestle back up immediately. I get that back. And then you see my leg thing went flying in the air. And then, you know, I'm just controlling the back. I got my legs crossed here, which isn't really good. But I'm just fighting for that choke. I have it pretty deep here. I get it here. And then I get the tap eventually for that win. First ever win in my career. Felt really good. And it was just really satisfying. And this next matchup was against a teammate of mine, actually. Here we go. I go for a Hail Mary standing guillotine, but then he goes for this takedown and completely misses my legs. We roll around, and then I just get on the back. I'm speeding it up because I was on it for quite a minute. And, yep, still just right in the back. I almost had the choke there, but I did not get it. And then I base up, and I'm working around, just trying to find anything at this point, you know. He was kind of stalling here. But then I get this left arm across the throat. I get that other arm through. And I get this rear naked choke for my second sub of the day. I'm kind of upset I don't have the video for this one because this one was a really good match. I felt like I might have won it, but when it ended, I had no idea. I just know it was back and forth a lot, but I did not get the nod. This guy actually went on to win the bracket, and I got third in the bracket, so since I got third, I qualified for the absolute division, so I went into that. But in the first round, I got put up against the guy that submitted me for my first match. But I actually took him to a decision this time. I remember he was trying to armbar me again, but from bottom, and I did a really good job stacking it, pulling him out. I actually took an accidental palm strike. I don't know what he was doing, but when he was like trying to break my grip, I guess he palm struck my hand and completely missed and just hit me in the face. But it was whatever. This guy went on to win the absolute division, man. But yeah, guys, I got third, man. This was my first ever competition as a jiu-jitsu competitor, guys. I took it on about 3 to 3.5 months of doing jiu-jitsu. So I always recommend to these new guys, man, competing is really good for growth, man. Obviously, don't get in there really quick, but try to get there as fast as you can. And once you start understanding your fundamentals, man, get in there because it's the best way to learn. I'll see y'all later.